If you will do it every day, you won't hesitate. The writing will come easier. It will get better. You will enjoy it more because you're going to get used to it. It won't be difficult. You will just sit down and you will just do it every day, 10 minutes. We're going to do 7 minutes right now. Okay, you have in front of you a writing practice page. You have a pen. You have a pen. And so I'm going to give you a prompt, or you can use your detail that you got. I'm going to give you, today is January the 11th. No, today is January the 12th. And here's the prompt. And so you can use it any way you want to. You can write fiction, you can write nonfiction, you can write memoir, you can write a poem. You don't even have to write to the prompt. Here's the prompt. In the distance. In the distance. We're going to go for 5 minutes, and I'm going to keep track of the time. We can have some people read them. Thank you, Patrick. Very generous man. Take about another minute. Okay, see if you can find a place to end. And this doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have a beginning and a middle and an end. It just means if you can find a place to put a period. And if you were going someplace, and this often happens to me, you know, the warm-up, I'm headed someplace and I don't quite get there. So if you knew where you were going, you might want to make a note of an image that you had or a phrase that you were aiming for or something so that you won't forget it. Because even though we swear, we'll never forget these things. They're like dreams, you know, they just kind of fade with the, as the day goes on. So, so how was that? Yeah, wow, what happened? You just started writing? Did anybody stop and think? I saw a couple of pens, because that's the thing. Usually in my classes, on the whiteboard, I make a big circle and I put think and I draw a line through it. No thinking. Oh, and the other one is nice, and I draw a line through that. We don't want to be nice either. So, so this is what can happen. And did anybody go astray from where they started off on a completely different track? Was it great?
Is that because it was structured? It had a beginning and an end?
You know, there's something about the timed writings. And I do this. I set my timer for myself. Even when I'm writing pieces of my novel sometimes and I just want to get myself out of the way, I will set my timer because there's an intensity that is created with that. And so anybody, you know, you're focused, there's an intensity, and you just keep the pen moving. And that's what makes the difference, I think. So using the timer will really support you in this kind of writing. And then when I have gone through my 18 minutes and I'm not done with what I'm doing, I reset the timer and I do it again. And that just keeps my pen to the page instead. Because once my mind starts wandering off, you know, I'm good for half an hour anyway, you know, without getting any more words down. And it doesn't matter what the words are because we just want to get something on the page. And then we got something to work with. Now we can invite that wonderful brain that we have that does the analyzing and does the, you know, judging and does all of this. We can say, now you come in and you tell me, what do I need here? And so we go through the page and say, you know what, there's everything in here is all sight, you know, that all of my descriptions are about what I see. I don't see anything about hearing. There's no smells here. I'm going to lay those on. So, you know, you go through the different drafts. I changed tense here. The name, I started off with Mavis, and now she's Enid down here. How did that happen? I don't know. It doesn't matter. When you're doing this kind of writing practice, as soon as you stop to think, you bounce yourself out of the story. And it's hard to come back in. You have to keep going up, you know, in and out, and it becomes difficult. So when something comes and you can't think of, for example, the zip code for Portland, Oregon, just never mind. Just draw, you know, my writing looks like Emily Dickinson poetry with all those dashes, you know, because I can't think of things. And the older I get, the less I can think of things. It was Bork yesterday, you know, that Icelandic singer. I could not think of her name until, you know, kept scratching out. Finally, it came to me. Thank you, wherever those things come from, that when they finally connect, those synapses. So don't stop to think. Just keep going. Just keep going. And then you invite the editor in, and the editor, and then you can do the thinking. When you're thinking and you say, oh, you know what I need here? I need a scene between these two people, or I want to describe this particular incident that happened. Then you move back to the other phase and you drop once again into the free writes, like, you know, we call them free writes, this kind of timed writing practice, and get that raw stuff out again. Then you put it back into your manuscript. We can do questions and answers now. Oh, yes. Okay.
What I noticed, I am a writer, and I have been published, but just in magazines.
Wait.
But just in magazines. Okay, sorry about that.
Okay.
But what I noticed when you gave me this prompt is that when I was writing, I was trying to catch up with my images.
Yes.
I mean, my mind, I couldn't write fast enough.
I know.
To get up to where I was going, and that's
And many
really
people say, you know, I don't like to write by hand because I can't keep up with my thoughts, and I'm saying that's okay. You know, you got so many of them. You know, they're going to just slow down and let them come and let them come and let them come. And then you do rewrites and you do revises. But I know this is true. And writing by hand, I mean, sometimes we get going so fast. What people often say when they read their work out loud in my writing groups, when we do writing practice groups, I can't read my own handwriting. And it's exactly because we just, yeah, there's so much we want to say, it can just pour out. And if you learn to do this kind of writing and you breathe with it and slow down, you know, you'll get the ones. You'll get the ones. Yeah. I know. I know.
I have them.
Yes.
I'm next.
Good.
Say more about longhand versus typing on computer.
Okay.
And also, what kind of writing? What is a blog? What kind of writing is blogging?
Blogging is blogging. I mean, I know a lot of people don't look at blogging as real writing, you know, and I think a lot of people they think maybe blogging doesn't have to be as edited. You know, just like what's happening with email, how we're ruining the language and our grammar and our punctuation and all of that with email. And I think a lot of people get a little sloppy in their blogs, but you know, it's however you want to do it. But blogging is blogging. It's a new, different kind of writing. Just, you know, it's kind of journalish, but it's also kind of for the public. Handwriting versus typing. On the keys, here's what happens. The writing muscles, heart, hand, breath. And so so your writing is a muscular thing. It's a physical thing that we do. We do it with our bodies. And especially the breathing gives us the rhythm for our writing. It's so important to do the breathing. And what happens often when we go with the keyboard, then we have this and we have our eyes on the keyboard. And, on the monitor. And so often what happens is the brain, we disconnect from our bodies and the brain interferes and we start editing rather than just letting it go. Some people, I write my nonfiction on the computer and my fiction by hand. I do all my writing practice by hand. And so I stopped doing fiction by hand because I couldn't stop editing. So I invite people to turn their monitor off if they want to use this because they just feel like so much more comfortable. Just turn your monitor off so you don't see what you're doing, you know, so you can't read the words. And then go back and do it. But I really urge you to do some writing by hand, even if you're used to using the computer, just to get back in touch with your body. Let your breath support you. Let your heartbeat give you a rhythm for it. And I think I can hang out and answer more questions. And I know that we have about 1 minute left, according to Patrick. Yes.
You just answered my question about the difference between typing and handwriting, but thanks.
Oh, good.
Anything else you want to say? Because I write successfully both ways, but they're different.
I do too. They're different. Yeah. Yeah.
How
is
why
it
is
different?
that? Yeah.
I think when I'm writing my nonfiction, I have a destination. When I'm writing fiction, I don't know where I'm going. And I think that might be part of it, but I can't say that this is true for sure. I think we have to stop. And I want to thank you so much, and I want to encourage you. Thank you.